For 47 years, the Iranian regime utilized regional aggression to expand its influence. By early 2026, that history reached a definitive boiling point as the country neared a nuclear breakout. This process relies on the uranium centrifuge, a device that spins at extreme speeds to isolate the specific isotopes required for a nuclear weapon. Intelligence reports from the start of the year indicated Iran was weeks away from completing its first weapon. At the same time, the regime began massing conventional ballistic missiles, positioning them to strike neighboring countries across the Middle East. The United States launched a preemptive strike named Operation Midnight Hammer. This mission utilized B-2 bombers to target and destroy Iran's newest nuclear facilities, which the regime had attempted to protect by burying them deep under layers of solid granite. Once the nuclear sites were neutralized, the military transitioned to Operation Epic Fury. This secondary campaign focused on the systematic dismantling of Iran's conventional military strength, targeting its remaining defensive and offensive hardware. In historical conflicts in this region, the immediate result is a blockade of shipping lanes, a spike in oil prices, and a resulting shock to the global economy. The challenge for the administration in 2026 was to neutralize a nuclear adversary while ensuring the conflict did not cause a breakdown of international trade networks. This map of the Persian Gulf tracks the destruction of the Iranian Navy during the first 9 days of Operation Epic Fury. Over 50 active fighting vessels were targeted and sunk, effectively removing the regime's presence from the water. Inland, B-2 bombers targeted the regime's manufacturing base. These strikes resulted in an 83% drop in drone launching capacity, crippling the regime's ability to project power through unmanned systems. The campaign also resulted in a 90% decline in active missile launchers. Alongside this loss of hardware, the strikes targeted the regime's military command, removing several tiers of leadership in a matter of days. To defend against retaliatory fire, the U.S. deployed Patriot batteries alongside new laser interception technology. A Patriot system is a highly mobile air defense platform that uses advanced radar to track and intercept incoming missiles. These systems successfully neutralized thousands of rockets aimed at regional allies like the UAE. This satellite view shows the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. Navy moved to secure this choke point, ensuring that oil shipments continued to reach global markets, including those in China, despite the regional instability. Within 9 days, the campaign dismantled the military infrastructure of a regime that had held regional power for nearly 5 decades. This massive disruption forced the United States to immediately reorganize its global energy supply lines in order to maintain international economic stability. To keep global fuel prices from rising during the war, the administration established a new energy partnership with Venezuela. This shift followed a change in leadership in Caracas, with the U.S. now working directly with a new administration led by President Delhi. The scale of this cooperation provided the U.S. with 100 million barrels of Venezuelan oil immediately, with another 100 million placed in the supply pipeline. Domestic infrastructure was quickly adjusted to handle this massive influx. Large shipments of Venezuelan crude were routed to specialized refineries in Houston, which are designed to process that specific heavy product. This sudden pivot to Washington had a massive secondary effect on Cuba. The new administration in Venezuela abruptly halted the fuel and financial subsidies that had heavily supported the Castro regime for many years. Without Venezuelan support, Havana was left economically isolated. The country's leadership faced an immediate humanitarian crisis, as fuel reserves and financial assets were exhausted. Secretary of State Marco Rubio used this immense economic pressure to seek a major diplomatic breakthrough. He began negotiating what he termed a friendly takeover to replace the existing Cuban government. By neutralizing the Iranian military, the U.S. successfully cut the supply lines of an adversary in the Caribbean. The 2026 conflict showed that control over the global energy market could be as effective as traditional weaponry. Following the strikes, the administration highlighted its success in removing the Iranian leadership and converting former adversaries into energy partners. This established a level of geopolitical influence that effectively dictated the terms of regional security. While the administration proudly claimed victory, the rapid realignment of power came with significant costs and ongoing controversies. The human cost of Operation Epic Fury included 8 American service members who died during the brief conflict. A Tomahawk is a long-range cruise missile used for precision strikes against land targets. One such missile is now at the center of an investigation, following reports that it struck an Iranian girls' school during the initial bombardment. There are also concerns regarding internal security. Intelligence indicates that Iranian sleeper cells, operatives stationed inside the U.S. waiting for instructions, may still be active within the country. Tracking these threats has been complicated by a government shutdown. This domestic gridlock stems from a dispute over the Save America Act, a voting bill focused on national voter ID and restrictions on mail-in ballots. Operation Epic Fury removed a long-standing adversary and reshaped global energy trade in less than 2 weeks. However, this new landscape is defined by a reliance on economic pressure and military force, leaving the U.S. to manage the resulting domestic and international vulnerabilities.